What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. Goody and I are absolutely fired up right now about the possibilities that the Toronto Maple Leafs have coming up. There are reports coming out everywhere, speculations of who they might be going after, who they're in on. We are about a month away from NHL Trade Deadline, March 21st. We will be breaking down all the news, all the rumors here on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed already and you need a little extra incentive on top of getting news, breakdowns, rumors, game recaps, all that kind of stuff, betting previews, if that's not good enough for you, we are growing our hair until the playoffs, which is going to be ridiculous. I'm looking at where my hair's at right now, looking at where yours out. Goody, we still got 2 months ahead of us, and if we hit 2,000 subscribers before the beginning of the playoffs, we will be going mullet, so it'll be an interesting situation for the boys. But if you want to see that happen, aside from all the other stuff, make sure you hit subscribe on this channel and help support the boys here. All right, let's get into the news out of Toronto Maple Leafs camp today. It was something we were expecting to happen. It was speculated upon the second the injury took place, and I saw the information first from Cap Friendly, so I will give them credit for this one. But Cap Friendly tweeted, "Our Leafs Forever page has been updated to reflect the LTIR placement of Muzzin. As can be seen in the chart, they have $5.625 million LTIR space that can be used while Muzzin is out with injury." And Goody, we obviously sit here and hope that Muzzin is going to be okay, and obviously he's a guy that can make an impact. We've seen it in playoffs before. We've seen it in regular seasons before, where he's a very useful, impactful player for this team, a guy you want around if for his veteran leadership and nothing else. The guy has won Stanley Cups. We hope he's okay. But this is massive, like massive news for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. You're talking about a team who is pressed right to the gills up against the cap here, and we're going to be struggling to find any type of addition that they can make at the deadline because of their cap situation, where you're going to have to ship out contracts. Salary's going to have to be retained. You're going to have to involve third parties. You're going to have to trade more picks, juice things up. Not necessarily anymore. With the placement of Jake Muzzin on LTIR, the Leafs now have $5.625 million in cap space available until Jake Muzzin returns from injury. And I have to believe that with this being his second concussion this season, his second in a short amount of time here, and with the given benefits that are provided because a player can stay on the LTIR and you are relieved of that cap space, and when they come back in the playoffs, I am truly under the impression here that this Toronto team will keep Jake Muzzin on the LTIR until the end of the season, which opens up endless possibilities for trades here.
Absolutely. This is massive for the Leafs once you accept that your guy got hurt, which is difficult to accept because, as you said, second concussion this season, very short period of time. So I'm just, first of all, concerned for Jake Muzzin's health. I hope he's okay. But once you accept that situation, realize it's happened, there really are some redeeming value here in the situation you've been put in. As you outlined there, we get a ton of cap space back, and Jake Muzzin can return for playoff time if that's the case. There's definitely no guarantees of that. But right now, this puts us in such a good financial situation because, even look at what Tampa Bay did. They basically put a bunch of guys in LTIR. They were able to bring them back. You guys know how it goes. This rule is kind of already getting
one of their best players, if not their best player.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this rule, or I guess I should say loophole right now, is going to be unfair. I'm thinking after this year, they're going to start patching it up because, there's a few teams that are about ready to milk it, and the Leafs are now one of them. So I'm really excited about that. It frees up the cap space to make it so that we're not trying to offload contracts too desperately. We can kind of make the right moves. It doesn't fix everything, but wow, it happened at the right time if it was going to happen. And now we have a lot better cap space because of it, no doubt.
Well, when you look around in the league and you look at these contracts and you go, how can we fit that guy? Who do we have to move out to get him? What do we have to do to sweeten the pot? Right off the top of my head, 3 guys I think of: Chychrun, Klingberg, Sherratt. They're all guys that come in at 3.8, 4.5, $5 million AAVs. They all sit at less of a cap hit than Jake Muzzin's, and now they all have space to fit into this Leafs salary cap as things move forward. And there was other news today. Jake Muzzin was put on LTIR. The Leafs did bring up 2 defensemen today, Brennan Menell, and I'm actually just having to pull up the other one right now because I slipped my mind. Christian Rubens, and they sent down Rasmus Sandin. I believe this is a cap-related move. You're just moving and shaking some pieces. There might be a possibility of trading one of, if not both of those guys in Menel and Rubens. Perhaps another NHL club is looking at them or has interest in them. So maybe something's correlated there. We'll find out in the near future as things unwind. I would also imagine that Sandin, they probably want him in the lineup tomorrow night against Minnesota, so we'll see how things move around here. But that was another move that was made today by this Leafs team. But getting into the ability to make some moves here, $5.625 million is nothing to sneeze at or laugh at when you're talking about cap space, especially for a team that's crunched on it. And you look at those guys that I mentioned, Chychrun, Klingberg, Sherratt. Whether you get one of those guys or you now have the ability to go out and try to acquire one of those guys, but two of those guys, or those guys and forward space, you have that ability now. You have that ability to fit it into the unused LTIR space, and you have the ability to trade guys out to create cap space as well to make other pieces fit. This is a great use of the rule that is in place here where you are allowed to use the LTIR. If it's there, why would you not use it?
Oh, you may as well use it. I mean, if you look at other guys like Lindholm and Manson over there on Anaheim, those are two guys that we're now right back in the market for as well. There are endless tires we can kick now with that contract for the moment off of the books. But I mean, anyone that knows the play, knows his injury history this season, Muzzin is going to be out at very least until the playoffs. They're going to make it that way. This is 100% guarantee for everyone who knows gambling. This is minus 10,000. This is what they are going to do. And the reason is they can take advantage of it right now by trading to get in a defenseman without needing to move any other forwards, because, you know, we've agreed that probably your highest value guy right now that we're willing to move would be a Kerfoot. But now you don't necessarily even need to go down that road. Of course, it's still very possible if the right deal comes up, send Kerfoot out. I'm with it. Yeah. But at the same time, it takes a little bit of that like necessity off of the situation. Like,
agreed.
You know, Kerfoot's worried about his teammate, but part of him also was like, okay, there's, you know, now like a massive reduction in the chance that I get traded. And, you know, I'm not like the biggest fan of Kerfoot, but I'm also not going to ignore how big of a spark plug he's been on the second line. And he was one of our only good players last year in the series versus the Canadiens. He deserves to stick around if we can make it work. And this situation helps to facilitate that.
I agree. I think that it's one of those things where you look at it and his percentage of getting traded probably lowers here strictly in terms of necessity. I think that if it's the fit for the trade, another team wants him, you move on from him. It's not even a question. You say if you're getting the pieces back that you want and you have to move that piece out, you do it. You and I talked last night on the live stream in the post game about how this is a year where you have to look at things and say, we got to make the big move. You got to make the move to go after some big pieces. We see Tampa do it when they go out. They acquire Bogosian off of a buyout. Then next thing you know, they're getting Blake Coleman, and they go and get Barclay Goodrow, and the years before they go and get McDonough, and they're making these big moves that are big name pieces coming to their team that can make a significant impact. And you and I were already at the point where we said, we think this Leafs team is going to jump to that. We think that this Leafs team looks at their team right now, says, we have a legitimate chance to win the Stanley Cup in this 21-22 NHL season. We have to put our chips on the table, and we got to go all in. We got to try to win this thing now. And I think with this move of Muzzin to the LTIR, A, it makes it easier to do so, and B, it makes it much, much more likely that they just go all in for some big fish here and they go big name hunting. I highly doubt that they start shopping around the markets of guys like Scott Mayfield or damn, I just blanked on the guy's name in Philadelphia, the defenseman in Philadelphia, not Ristolainen. You know who I'm talking about.
No.
No.
Bears. Yeah, no.
But anyways, the point being, they're not going to look for lower down guys to fit into depth. This will be a move to significantly impact this team right now. This guy could step into the lineup tomorrow night against Minnesota if the trade was underway. And these guys will make an impact on this game. And I think that they do it now with the movement of Muzzin. I think they do it in the forwards and the defense here. I truly think this Leafs team is going to go swinging for the fences and go for some big names.
Man, and could you imagine, like, okay, I'll just go with probably even one of the more unpopular picks, but let's say you get Sherratt. Someone like that, you know, it could be Klingberg, it could be Manson, any of those guys. But let's say you get like a Sherratt, just for this sake of the example here. Look at your blue line, man. You got Riley, Brody, hopefully Muzzin coming back as well, Sandin, Sherratt, and then like Liljegren. I don't know, bro. That's a pretty good D line. You know, it's not like a Tampa Bay D line, but you also have a deep, deep forward group that's playing really well together. I mean, at that point, the only outstanding question becomes goaltending. And I'm happy that I thought of this now because that also needs to at least be mentioned in this whole narrative about Jake Muzzin going on LTIR because, you know, Peter Mrazek's contract's an issue. We've been harping on that. And until him or Jack Campbell can be assertive as a number one, which, you know, it can be night and day with goaltending. Look at Jack Campbell earlier this season. The guy was a second coming of Jesus Christ. And now who knows what he can do going forward into the clutch of this season, right? He's been good as a Leaf when you evaluate his net worth. So we'll see where it goes, but at least flexibility is something that you can extend in a bunch of different ways. And goaltending at some point, we might need to, you know, take in a third goaltender and then make a trade that sort of sucks to offload Peter Mrazek cap space or something like that. But you get what I mean. Goaltending is something that needs to be addressed, and at least we get a little bit more cap flexibility to do it now.
Of course. Well, this is a big move for the Maple Leafs. It could drastically change the fortunes of this team in the short term here as we move towards things. We don't know. There's no promises in terms of deals that will be made or guys that would be coming to this team. But with this cap space opening up, it allows for a lot more possibilities. It allows for bigger names, bigger cap hits, and it allows for this Leafs team. It allows for Dubas to not have to make such crazy moves of getting guys out of here in order to fit guys into this system. It really, truly opens up a lot of opportunity for this Leafs team. So while we hope Jake Muzzin is okay, and I genuinely hope he can return for the playoffs, because I think even if he's not at 100%, having him be even in the bottom pairing would be an impactful guy for this team because of his veteran leadership, the fact that he's won before, and if he takes on some sheltered minutes come playoff time, he could be a guy that helps out. So we hope for his health in the long term, even in the short term here. But with him moving to the LTIR, this opens up endless possibilities for this Leafs team. So we will see how things break down. But again, if you guys want more news, more rumors, breakdowns, all that kind of stuff, it is here on this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 2K. We will be going mullets at 2K, so make sure you hit subscribe. But Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think about this Jake Muzzin news in the comments below. Let us know how you feel about this one, what possibilities there are, and what players we should go after now. Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys tomorrow. Keep a Leafin'.
Signing off.